So I actually got this Reddit post sent to me probably about sometime last week, and I've really been thinking about it for a little bit actually, because I've been thrown for a loop. Okay, I've been thrown quite for the loop actually, and you guys will see as we delve into this one. So this Reddit post comes from R Am I the Asshole? It's basically a subreddit where people who are confused about their actions come tell the story and ask the individuals of Reddit, are they the one in the wrong? Are they the asshole in the situation? So I want you guys to, you're gonna read this along with me. We're gonna delve deep into this one because I'm just thrown for a loop, man. You'll see. You'll see. So, am I the asshole for losing my virginity with another guy that was not my ex? Okay, that. Okay. Just let's just listen. Let's just hear her out for a second. All right. I already know your reactions. Let's just listen. So I'm 19 years old. I was dating my ex for almost 2.5 years. It was the best relationship I ever had. Okay, I'm a little confused now. I'm intrigued. The only real point of contention was that throughout the relationship, he always asked me if I wanted to have sex, and I always told him I just didn't feel ready. He never pressured me, but I always could tell his disappointment. The most we ever did was making out slash heavy groping with clothes. Well, 6 days ago, we broke up. It's probably more like 2 weeks ago, but whatever. He told me that he loved me, but he just didn't feel sexually satisfied, and that he wished me the best, but he thinks it's best if we see other people. I was obviously distraught. I felt ugly and unwanted, and that nobody would ever love me. Pause. Now, did I read the same? Did I enter a parallel dimension where everything is flip flopped? Because as far as I understand it, now maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I am wrong, my brothers, but I could have sworn that she literally, the nigga just said that he loved her, but he wasn't sexually satisfied. And he had been trying to have sex with her for a long period of time. My nigga, how can you tell me you feel ugly and unwanted and that no one would ever love you when the nigga just told you that he loved you and that he wanted you and was trying to have sex with you? Which means you must be attractive in some capacity. I don't know. Now, this sounds like some clear and obvious bullshit to me that she felt this way, but let's just keep reading. 3 days after, when I was feeling particularly down, a coworker started hitting on me. I was feeling really low about myself, and he talked about how sexy I was and how my boyfriend was an idiot to break up with me. He suggested that maybe we should go to his car. We did, and to make a long story short, we ended up having we ended up at a park having sex. I just felt like I lost everything because of this dumb virginity thing, and he made me feel so wanted and beautiful. Now, okay, okay, okay. So the guy you were with for almost 2.5 years didn't make you feel wanted and beautiful. But the coworker who hit on you 3 days afterward did. And you didn't just have sex with a nigga. You immediately jumped on his bones after he just made some comments to you. And then you went out to the car and had sex. Not even at his house, at a park. You had public sex at a park. But you couldn't have sex with your boyfriend after he's been heavily groping you for 2.5 years? Now you see why I'm thrown for a loop now, don't you, viewer? But we continue. Let's keep going. Well, that night, my ex called me begging for me back. He's okay with waiting and that he loves me. Oh, is that right? Now imagine if she would have just waited 24 bloody hours. Imagine if she didn't just jump. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I was so happy, but I felt so guilty. I tried to bring it up subtly. I said we should get tested, and he was insistent that he didn't even kiss another person. But if I really wanted him to, he will. Wow, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Best relationship she ever had, lasted 2.5 years. Guy is saying, I trust you, but you know what? I never did anything with anyone else. I love you. I want you back, but I'll get tested for you. I'll get tested for you. Even though I know I'm clean, I'm going to do it for you anyway. I hinted we should probably get tested together when he said that was a ridiculous idea and he knows I'm clean. Oof. Oof. I admitted to him I was feeling really low and actually did end up hooking up with someone. It looked like his heart was being ripped out his chest. He was sullen for a bit and told me, if you just did some heavy petting, I don't think you need to get tested. He has so much faith in her. This is the man she rejected for 2.5 years. He had so much faith in her. This breaks my heart. I'm laughing because otherwise I'd be crying. Look at how much faith he had in this woman. Or maybe he was just being delusional. I don't know. You tell me. When I admitted we actually had sex, he turned extremely angry. Let me be clear. I've known this man for 2 years. He's never even cursed when he hits his foot on the bed. This was so completely out of character. He said if all I wanted to do was whore around, then I should have told him long ago so he wouldn't waste his time on me. Fair enough. Well, he's angry. Maybe that's not fair enough. And a bunch of other horrible things that makes me sad to repeat. He told me that we were over and to never speak to him again. Real nigga shit. And then he blocked me on everything. Real nigga shit. He also told all of our mutual friends that I wanted to be a hoe and fuck my old creepy coworker a day after he broke up, and that I'm a raging bitch. Okay, maybe that's not really. I mean, it's kind of accurate. It's not really accurate. I mean, it was 3 days. Let's be fair, dude. It was 3 days. It was 3 times that amount of time you told everybody, okay? But I mean, let's be real though. I mean, I don't know if the guy's old. I don't know if the guy's creepy, but I mean, that's what you did. I mean, that is what he did. That's what you did. My mutual friends all sided with him, and nobody wanted to hear that I was just lonely and needed someone. Yeah, because it's fucking bullshit. It's clear and utter bullshit. It's so much bullshit that I don't even understand how you believe it. You had sex with some guy in a park 3 days after you broke up with someone. You're trying to tell me that you didn't feel ready for sex, but you did 3 days after the guy who wanted you for 2.5 years broke up with you? Now you're ready to fuck some random person? Like, I don't understand. How do you not understand how incredibly disrespectful that is? Now, some people might come up with, oh, well, she doesn't owe her body to him. She doesn't owe her virginity to this guy. Okay, yeah, that's true. You're right. She doesn't. She doesn't owe him sex. You would be correct, viewer, if that's your opinion. But you would also be on some other shit if you don't think that this isn't a slap in his face. You don't think he doesn't feel attractive? He doesn't feel wanted? He doesn't feel loved? This woman he was willing to give his virginity to literally went off to some other guy? Literally gave him the cold shoulder for 2.5 years? He doesn't feel unwanted? He doesn't feel unloved? He doesn't feel disrespected? Come on. Come on. Nor would anyone acknowledge that we were broken up at the point and I didn't have any obligation to him. Now, this is incredibly selfish. Incredibly selfish. Yes, it's true. Yes, you're right. You didn't have any obligation to him. But how do you not understand what your actions are saying? What your actions speak to him? Your actions speak to him that he's not attractive. Your actions speak to him that you don't respect. Speak to him that virginity thing was never. And maybe you could say that it was, but I would completely disagree because, I mean, clearly it couldn't have been if it took 3 bloody days. So, I mean, so to him, there's no way you can make an argument that your virginity was meaningful or you're trying to keep it for some meaningful experience or reason. Clearly that couldn't have been the case because you lost it 3 days later to some guy at your work. In a park, no less. It's not like the guy wined and dined you or anything. You went to a fucking park. Bro, man, fucking miss me with that bullshit. This was a meaningful, loving experience. At the park, nigga? With the kids playing around? Come on. My friends' reactions hurt. I lost many of them and everyone's bullying me. I feel horrendous about the entire thing, but I still don't see how I was in the wrong. He broke up with me, and in my mind, we were done. Am I the asshole for sleeping with another person? And a lot of people are asking me how I felt ready for this new guy, but not my boyfriend, so I'll copy and paste the comment I made. It's different though. I loved my ex, truly, but I just never felt ready. The fuck does that mean? What does that mean? I'll be real with you guys. I know exactly what it means. She did not have the burning passion or desire to be with this guy. It's what that bullshit means. There's no rhyme or reason or logic behind it. She didn't need to feel ready. She just wasn't attracted to him. It seems to me this is the only conclusion I could really come up with, honestly, guys. Like, it's this entire thing is just totally devoid of any logic or anything coherent. There's nothing coherent about this woman's thought process. Nothing about this makes any sort of sense. So if you ever heard me say on my channel that women don't think logically, boom. This is one of the best examples of me saying of a woman, just there's nothing logical, reasonable, or coherent in any of the shit she's saying here. I didn't want to rush it and regret it immensely. She didn't want to rush 2.5 years. Now, again, this is totally illogical. What she is saying does not match her actions in any conceivable way. I didn't want to rush and regret it immediately. Except that's literally what you did after the person you made wait broke up with you. How does that make sense? It doesn't. After we broke up, I just felt so shitty about myself and thought I was the ugliest person on earth. Oh, that's right. Some guy's been trying to have sex with me for 2.5 years. Clearly, I'm ugly. And my coworker made me feel so beautiful. That guy who was the best relationship that I had, who called me, had so much fucking faith in me that I wouldn't go out and have sex with somebody else. Trying to get me back, saying that he would wait for me. He didn't make you feel beautiful. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. I realized that saving my virginity is why I lost the man I loved. No, bitch. Having sex with your coworker is why you lost the man you love. Because that man you loved came back to you 3 days later. That's not why you lost him. You lost him because you were a dumbass. So I thought, fuck it, and did it. I can understand him being hurt, but he doesn't have a claim on my body. And see, a lot of women seem to like ride or die on this whole entitlement thing for men. A lot of women seem to not grasp or understand that sex does have weight to some men, especially men who really care about you. And a lot of women are quick to dismiss this men as horn dogs and as men that are incapable of loving them, when really that's what the vast majority of men want to do. Most men don't want to have sex with 50, 100 different women, or 50, or 10 or 20 different women. And you'll see on the internet, like there's like a whole bunch of horn dogs, a whole bunch of like pickup artists, and all this bullshit, and all these internet posts. The reality is, most men just want one woman. Real nigga shit. They just want one woman to be with, and he had that, but he couldn't be with her because apparently she was trying to save her virginity, not for any religious reasons, from what I could gather, because clearly it couldn't have been for any religious reasons, because she immediately threw that shit out 3 days later. Clearly she wasn't trying to wait towards marriage. I don't know what the fuck she was doing. She just said ready in quotation marks, like a nigga's supposed to read that shit and be like, oh, I understand exactly what you mean by ready in quotation marks. Nigga, no, I don't. And the only thing I can ascertain by ready is that you just mean that you just didn't think the nigga looked good enough. I don't really know what other issue there was, especially if the only description of this guy is that he's just great.
Yeah, so this one just kind of threw me for a loop, man. I actually have been trying to collect my thoughts for the past couple of days, trying to like figure this one out, or at least try to make some type of sense out of this one. But I think the only thing that makes sense is how it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like the idea that I mean, shoot, dude. Like, where do I even bloody start with this one? I just okay. Let's take it off from here. The idea that that she doesn't understand. This is the thing. See, the thing that kind of got to me, the conclusion I finally came to, is that this woman has to be stupid. Okay, like this woman has to genuinely be unintelligent. The fact that she can't comprehend or understand the idea that someone who has spent 2.5 years with you, doing everything in a relationship, you know, loving you, protecting you, helping you when you feel bad, giving you money when you need it, you know, helping you when you're in emotionally weak or vulnerable states. This person has been here for a while, and they try to have sex with you. Now, to be fair, now to be consistent, I don't really think you should have sex until you're married, if I'm being consistent here, but I am well aware that people don't follow that or believe that. So, but okay, fine. If you're trying to have sex with someone for 2 bloody years, my friend, and then you go and you have sex with another person, but 3 days later, like, what does this say about you as a person? And that's what this young man's probably felt. That's probably why he was so angry. I mean, like, what does that say about me? Now, my original conclusion was that it seems to be pretty clear to me that this woman just was not all that attracted to her boyfriend. That was my initial reaction to this, because it seemed particularly strange that this would be the case, that you could have someone trying to have sex with you for 2.5 years. But even more like sillier still is her logic. Now again, if you were paying attention, she said that after her boyfriend broke up with her, she felt like she was unlovable and ugly and unwanted. But I'm sitting here and I'm trying to put the pieces together, my brothers, and I'm like, or sisters who are also there. How does someone spend 2.5 years trying to fuck you, and then you come to the conclusion that you're unlovable and unwanted? In what world, bruh? In what world? What are you talking about? You're telling me that this old guy just made you feel so wanted because you were emotionally vulnerable. And again, I'm sitting here like, bruh, you wrote the story now, bruh. Like, I didn't write this tale. You did. You told me that for 2.5 years this guy's been trying to have sex with you. And somehow you feel unloved and ugly and unwanted? Bruh, that shit don't even sound like it makes sense. So the only other conclusion I had to come to was, once again, you just have the typical female victimhood mentality. It's just simply, in order to make herself look like the victim, because that's what she did. She made herself look like the victim, even though she was the one who inflicted the emotional pain on someone else. And even the comment section is very liberal and very defensive of her, despite the fact that this was some truly assholery behavior. Now, what really makes her an asshole, right? Because like some people might have these same comments that I read on Reddit. Some of the people on Reddit are saying that you don't owe this guy your virginity, despite the fact that you spent 2.5 years with him. And that's true. And that's fair. That's right. She doesn't owe him her virginity. But it is an incredibly disrespectful. It shows that she clearly had no respect for him, no respect for his time. Bearing in mind, if she never had any intentions on having sex with him for all this time, he could have spent these 2.5 years on somebody else. I mean, clearly her virginity was not all that important to her. If all it took was just some guys telling her sweet nothings after a breakup, clearly it didn't mean all that much to her. So then it really does beg the question, why didn't you just do it with your boyfriend? Like, it really does. And you got to think about how you would feel as a man. You spend all this time investing in a woman, all this time. You can't get 2.5 years back in a relationship, only to hear that literally 3 days later she did it with someone else. Now this happens a lot on Reddit. This isn't the first Reddit story I've seen. This is one of the reasons why I say Reddit is a fucking cesspool. But where this was actually from the guy's perspective, where he told a very similar story. He was with the girl. He was with the girl for 4 years. They didn't have sex. They broke up. 2 weeks later, she had sex with some biker dude, and then she tried to get back with him. Now, this is the one time I'm like thankful he posted on Reddit, because the people on Reddit told him, don't get back with this girl. He did not get back with the girl. Thank goodness for that. There's one time I'm like, yes, Reddit, you finally do some good in the world. But this is a very common thing that I'm seeing, where girls will not have sex with their boyfriends and will be with this guy for years. Okay, and I'm not talking about, again, like not 6 months, years. Will not touch this man. They break up, and then legitimately, let's use some Chad guy comes, and it's always some fucking Chad guy. It's always some daddy type kind of guy, like some older guy with more money comes along, and all of that I'm not having sex with you thing just flies right out the window, quickly gone. And so, it makes it really hard, honestly, when you read stories like this, to really be able to, like, have a counter argument against incels, man. And I know I bring up incels a lot, but incels are right, man, about a lot of different things. And, like, this shit is just incel fuel right here, man. The fact that this woman legitimately had someone for 2.5 years, right? And then somehow rejects him constantly, and somehow tries to paint herself out as the victim when she ends up hurting his feelings. Because there's another thing, right? There's another thing a lot of people haven't grasped. Because again, they're very liberal. They're on Reddit. They don't grasp that, like, virginity or, like, sex and sexuality means something to some people. Like, it's meaningful to people. Sharing an intimate moment that you cannot ever replicate ever again. The first time you have sex, that's it. It's gone. It's your first time. and it would have been his first time with someone that he loved and cared about. It would have been an experience that they could share that nobody else would have. Like, think about it for a second. If you have sex with a girl that's had 10 different partners, well, then you're not really unique. But if you gave your virginity to someone else and they gave it back to you, you are unique because you're the only two people you've ever had that experience with. It's truly intimate because it's only between you and two people, right? And so a lot of people on Reddit aren't registering that pain is a part of him as well. Like the young man, why he got so angry. Because now this is an experience he'll never get to have with this girl. And seldom he'll get to have with another woman because, you know, the amount of virgins out there are growing skitterser by the D. I don't really know about it. But anyhow, it is probably unlikely he'll be able to like invest that much time in like another virginal woman. And it does kind of beg the question, like, what's wrong with me? Like that young man, he's probably upset, like, well, what the fuck is wrong with me? You'll have sex with your coworker after 3 days. I knew you for 2. Like, what is up with me? And there probably was. Maybe she wasn't attracted to him. That was my first conclusion when I read this story. But I don't know if that really is the case. But it seems that maybe she never really actually. Maybe she did want. I don't really know. Like her. Honestly, this is the reason why I say a lot of women don't think logically. She did not even write her story in any logical, coherent way of which any of her actions make sense. None of the things that she did or said makes any sort of sense. It's purely just baked in unreasonable conclusions and just stretched out nonsense that the more I think about it, the more I just have to say this woman is either stupid, you know, or her mind is just all over the place that just like there's nothing coherent to be brought from here. I can't really make heads or tails of where her head was at. It just seemed like she was probably legitimately just a dumb person, you know, or just a clearly purely emotional thinker. I think the only real conclusions I can have, man, I don't really even know what to say about this story, man. It happens a lot. It happens way too much. I'm gonna be real with you guys, man. I keep reading stories like this over and over again. It's just like, man, like, what do we young men have to fucking do? We're trying. Like, because the guy didn't even seem like he was bad, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't say, like, the guy didn't abuse her, treat her, mishandle her, or anything. Like, at least she didn't say it. It's like, I mean, what do? You try to love a woman, you try to have sex with her, and you get nothing out of it for 2 years, and then all of a sudden, what even is there to say, man? I don't know, man. Like, I don't really know what grander conclusion I could give to you guys, or what advice I could really come up with. I'm just saying that, like, I think this is one for the ladies, man. I think women kind of need to learn and understand the weight sex has for men that really care about them. A lot of women love to call men horn dogs and like treat men like we don't care about them, like we're just trying to like get our dicks wet. And there's certainly caliber of men out there like that, but they seem to be fewer and far between. It's interesting to me that they get all of the focus. That they're like it's fucking hilarious to me. Like they're the men that women are always having sex with, and yet they want to bitch and complain that there are no good men out there who like actually want to love them and take care of them. You know, and then here she is ruining her relationship even though she had that. You know what I mean? Craziness, but. The thing a lot of women need to learn and finally understand about us men is that we want to love them and we want to be in relationships with them, but some women just are on some other fucking shit. I think at the end of the day, I think as a young man, you gotta come to the realization, man, some women are on some other shit, and you gotta learn how to vet these girls out and like invest your time in the women who are kind of, you know, more worth it. Because this woman definitely, I actually do think that this is kind of for the best for him. If this woman is that weak emotionally, if she has that poor character, at the end of the day, he did benefit from breaking up with her. If she legitimately is that weak as to where she'll just fold because someone said some nice things to her, this is definitely not someone you want to spend a prolonged period of time or relationship with. The only unfortunate thing is it took him 2.5 years to get there. But honestly, this definitely is not, you know, the woman worth. So with that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys got something out of today's video. Hopefully the ladies learn and understand that like sex does mean something to some men. Like not every man is just going to bag and tag you. Not every man's going to pump and dump you. Some men just want to love you and want to have good relationships with you. And if you are too stupid to appreciate that, understand that, man, then I honestly have like no respect for you, and no man should suffer you. And you should, as a woman, strive to be a woman of honor and character and of reasonable decision making. You know, you shouldn't become a slave to your insecurities, or your just complete and total lack of logic or understanding of how relationships work. You cannot tell me that you feel unloved and unworthy and unwanted when someone has wanted you, when someone has literally attempted to want you for a prolonged period of time. As a woman, you gotta learn how to understand that, you know, and not fall to the bullshit of just some guy saying nice things to you if some guy is actually investing his life into you. So that being said, man, I hope you guys got something out of today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go and click that. Comment in the comment box below. As always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.